So then, a few weeks back, I decided to try and 3D print pieces of roller coaster track, which went pretty well. I obviously had the piece which I can't take credit for, I found on online websites that obviously looks great because someone who knows what they're doing designed it. Then I gave it a go. I think it went pretty well, apart from the scaling being astronomical compared to the other piece. It's like night and day. And I saw comments really encouragingly saying, why not print entire roller coasters or roller coaster carriages? Now, I'll be honest, I think that idea is great, and I've been really trying for however long it's been since that went live really, of ways that I know, because I've learned Inventor, which is a 3D design software, and I know that although I'm not quite as experienced as I would like to be to design roller coaster cars, I thought I need something that's a middle ground. So this video, I've decided I'm going to try and print a Rumba Rapids boat or ride vehicle. I don't really know what you would consider it as, but one of the boats on Rumba Rapids. Now, if you're watching and you are experienced in designing and printing things, bear with me. I'm not professional in this by any regards. I do it at home in my spare time, trying to learn, because I thought, why not learn on camera? It shows that making mistakes is the stages of learning really, isn't it? So then, as you can see, first thing I did, opened up Inventor, trying to find the exact sort of side shape to the piece that essentially keeps you floating, I guess. I don't really know what it's called, but the raft aspect of it. I did it with, because I like the little indents, you'll notice it isn't a perfect circular edge. So I deliberately put these little circles trimmed away at the edges, so it had sort of grip textures to it. Revolved that to make it a circular piece. After that, obviously built up from it. This is where I was trying to build the ride vehicle part up. This is, as you can see, I didn't do it to the same dimensions. This was one of the first problems with the CAD file. I was sort of winging it here, but I have to say, despite all the little things that happened here, I think it went incredibly well, personally. After this, doing the inner details to the ride vehicle, I was trying here to get where the seats would be orientated. I've basically done this is sort of the back piece, then I've done 2 divots down to represent the seats and the floors. This CAD detail won't be anywhere near as accurate as ride vehicles you were on, but I just thought this is a good middle ground. I can make a rough mock-up of a boat for Rumba Rapids, obviously being very similar to the Alton Towers counterparts. So there you go. I'm just going through now, adding all the little details, changing all the heights. I got the dimensions wrong, extruded the exit sort of divots out, so I had to change that back and re-indent things and extrude back down to sort of remake the holes. Here I am. This is where I started making these step-down holes. Now, as you can see here, that is where the footage ends. After this, I did the inside detail to the boat, which I would like to say took me minutes, but given that this is a 15 times speed, so it's a quick time lapse, it still took 2 minutes of footage. So I thought I'll take that out because that will bore people, trust me. It was a lot of that won't work, that won't work, that won't work. So bear that in mind. After that, obviously had the finished CAD file, which I have shown here. Then I put it into the slicer software, as you can see. Now the slicing software, for some reason, every time I load something in, it divides it by 10 in terms of scale. Realised that the scale I'd done it to was too large really for my printer, so I'm just scaling it down. Going through the settings, I wanted to add support, but I didn't like the supports would affect what the sort of grip in the middle would look like, because when you get too many supports it can make it look quite rough. So I did supports on the outside, then did custom on the inside. I don't know if this will work. This is the first time I've ever used them. It might be a complete failure, we'll see. There we go, that's done. After this, saved it to the USB stick. So a boat colour which you see on Rumba Rapids quite a lot is the red boat. So I've decided to print it in red filament. Then I'm going to paint the dinghy bit black with paint afterwards, just mask off the top. I thought that would be easier to paint that little piece in regards to otherwise having to paint the entire inside bit where you've got to get your brush in between where the seats are and stuff. I didn't think that would be very easy, so I'm going to use red filament. So without further ado, I think we should just get printing. So then, this time lapse does end early. I know reason other than I didn't check on the time lapse after about an hour, then realised when I walked back upstairs that for some reason it had stopped, so something had clearly knocked the camera. But you live and learn. In future videos I will make sure that I check. You do have the basic majority of the printing has been captured, but the very top piece, sadly, I didn't capture on camera. After that I do a quick painting part. Yeah, that's a bit quick and bodged. I didn't really feel a need to commentate over that. So then, the results. So I do have to say I added details after I'd stopped painting it. This morning I realised I forgot to print safety gates, so really quickly with some black filament tried printing some safety gates. I know they're silver, but this model is quite small and I don't own any grey filament, which would mean I have to paint it, and I thought for the purpose of this model it isn't too urgent. So then, this is the finished product. As you can see, it actually went pretty well in my opinion. I think that realistically it isn't awful. I do have to say future things that I would like to do. I think if I printed this double the scale of it that it is currently, I think I'll be able to add a lot more detail because I'll have a lot more space for it. I think in a future video I'd really like to reprint this in double scale, even go down to the details of like you have Thorpe Park in white writing on the side of the boats. I can make a stencil and do it on these pieces. I did try for this one, but cutting out even card or printing a stencil that small is really difficult with that thin little piece. So I didn't really want to risk it in terms of getting paint all over the model, given that painting this bit alone splotched on the red bits there. I thought I'd leave it as, but I do have to say I think this was a success of a video. I think we're getting ever so much closer to being able to print ride vehicles, roller coaster cars. I think I'll do one more middle ground between this and a ride car. I thought I could do, I don't know, maybe a tidal wave boat or something that's less just cylindrical and linear, something that requires a bit more assembly maybe. Thank you for watching. If you have things that you think I should print and you would like to see made in future videos, please do put it in the comments. I like these videos, they're really good fun to do, and although it can be a lot of stress getting it right, it's really fun to do. It's that trial and error that I enjoy about making these models. So then, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.